We are starting again with the question number 116, though it is 117, but there was a chaos in one. So it is like that. Let's go further. In case you see a person drowning in a nearby river, what will you do and how? At least 5 steps in sequence to resolve in case of blocked option. Now, why do they give this question? They want to see how cool and calm and composed you are in cases of emergency when you see a person drowning. You know what? You got very less time to react. Because by the time you panic, the person will drown. But if you will relax, you will be able to save the person. So your being very relaxed and composed, yet systematically thinking is very important, very, very important. So when they say that if you see a person drowning in the river, what will you do and how? At least 5 steps. You should start systematically. What will you do? At least I learned from my parents that whenever you see somebody drowning or you drown, keep throwing your arms and legs so that you remain afloat. You don't just surrender so that you go down. And once you do that, automatically you are up. Number 1. Number 2, what should be done? Throw a rope, throw a stick, throw a log so that the person can take support. You heard that muhavra, Hindi muhavra? Doobte ko tinka ke sahara. Means that even if a person is drowning and he gets a support of some log or some log or a rubber tube, you automatically give them a breathing time, right? This is enough where you can get a boatman to help, or you can use a boat and go and help, or you can use a fisherman to help, or if you know swimming, rush, but with care. You know, in the swimming, you have to be very careful to help a person, that you don't help him from the front. You always help them from holding it from the back or holding their clothes. In my case, it's not possible, but sometimes holding from the hair also helps. But in my case, it is not going to be possible for you guys. Just kidding. But that is the way it is. But for the others, you can hold their hairs and push them from the back. But you will have to be careful to do it from the back side. Why? Because see, if you will try to help from front, they will hold you so tight that they will make you drown. So if you pull them from the back portion, you will be doing a wonderful job. You will be saving them. Do that. That is the way it is to be looked at. So this is something which you can give that. And you know, if you are sequentially telling one by one, you're sounding good, you're sounding logical, you're sounding wonderful, sounding wise. That applies to girls and boys. Now you don't have to panic. While helping, there is no gender identification. If it's girl, you call a girl to help. No. You'll go and help. Please, don't go into the romantic movies. Imagination, right? It is all about saving person's life. At that point of time, you don't have to inhibit and neither go into fantasy world. Is it clear? So this is one of the answers which you have to remember. Now coming down to question number 118. In case you are threatened by hoodlums to give away your money, purse and watch in a marketplace, you will. In case they are 1 in number, 2 in number, in both condition, armed or unarmed, by knife or by revolver or gun, what are you going to do? Now, what are these? This is SRT, which is now being given as VRT. In the earlier one also, what is VRT and SRT? In interview, when they give you a verbal reaction test, they give you like SRT, but they remove the options so that they can see the depth of your thought. If you are able to think more and more and more and more, how you are going to do. Similarly, here also they have given you a VRT, verbal reaction test, where they are removing all the things. Here they are saying you threaten to give away a mobile, purse and watch in a marketplace, you will. Now what are they doing? They are trying to remove the things. Why? They want to see how multiple you will think. I have told you one thing in life is very important. There are many people who think of problems. There are some people who are born nonsense, born critical. Wherever they will go, they will spare no one. They will criticize the person. They are habitual in their habit of proving themselves superior. So they will criticize the other person for sure. Just remember that. They're horrible. They're obnoxious, to be precise. And very tiring. The most worst thing is, wherever they live, fine, but the people surrounding them are tired of their nonsense. Because they always tend to be critical and they are not solution finders. They are only blaming others for the problem and they don't do anything. And they are parasitic also. They expect others to solve the problem. Why? Are they born queen or born king? Not understood. But the truth is this. These are all psychological processes. You all have to understand that. So there are some people who think of problems, they criticize. There are some people who think of solutions and they solve. So now we are looking for solution finders. Here, that's exactly what they're doing. So if you have this, what are you going to do? You will do this. In case they are one in number, that is, there is one person, what will you do? Two in number, or unarmed or unarmed. Now, here again I want to tell you something. When you come across such criminals coming to you, and you start dreaming like a South Indian movie or like a Bollywood movie, I think you're doing very foolish. You're living in a fool's world. Actually, if he is having a knife or a gun, he is quite super powered to overtake you and harm you. So you have to be wise to be alive. They say if you are alive, then only you will save the others. Similarly, if you are going to be secure by managing the situation well, then only you will be able to solve it. So this is something which is very, very important for you to understand. There one in number, one person who comes, then what will you do? In that case, you will convince him that, see, I am a student, please leave my things. It's hardly such a little money, but this matters a lot for me. Maybe. Nothing wrong in saying. He says, no, give it. Then give it. If you can hide, if you have hidden some money somewhere and he doesn't pick it up, you don't have to tell that, no, it is hidden in the so-and-so. No. Money saved is money earned. So you can do that. But after this, what you can do? You can go down to police headquarters or police people and tell them that this is this. They may ask, oh, it was only such a small amount, but you can at least get the criminals caught. They will do a bigger theft with the others. The policemen will like the logic. They will come with you and catch hold of them. And in the process, return whatever you've lost. In case there is one in number and he's too weak, is still having a knife, don't get enticed. If he is not having a knife, then you can overpower him. But in case he has a knife, he is already a problem. In case while conversation you are able to divert and he keeps the knife away, then you can overpower him. But in case he has knife absolutely ready, you don't have to think like that. And in case he has a revolver in front, my God, this is a combination of Spider-Man, Batman, Superman combined together. So at that point of time, no fun. Just give the money and later report to the police. Now somebody will say, that is an armed forces person, aren't we supposed to be brave? Not foolishly, wisely. You have to be brave, not foolishly. So what you're going to do is that once he has done this, you can identify him and go and tell to the police and get after, identify him, catch hold of him with the help of other people. That's okay. But at that point of time, any foolishness you do will be harmful. Now, how do we look at it in a different way? Imagine you are the officer of the troops, commanding the troops, and you do foolishness. What do? You imperil your life. You put your life into danger, and you not only put your life into danger, you also put your life of the entire troops team into danger. So we don't want such nincompoops or foolish people coming into the army as an officer. No. We want people who are wise. So here, some people may think, I am teaching them not to be courageous. No, I am teaching you to be courageous. But before that, wisdom comes first. Wisdom comes first. Third time, wisdom comes first. So remember that is. Now that doesn't mean be too scared. I am also again not telling you that you will surrender or you will again never forget it. No, I am not saying that. I am saying that situation wanted you to that time act like this. Later on with the help of police or later on with the help of other friends of yours, with of course the help of some police constable, go and find out where the hell is that character and catch hold of him and get your things back. Getting the point? Remember that. Now, if they are by knife or by revolver, as I have told you, revolver means he's a combination of Superman, Spider-Man, Batman, all getting into action. Even Captain America these days. Or the other one, what was that? Thor and many other, Hulk, the Hogan, God knows. All these Marvel comics, super people created. Now we come down to question number 119. In case you see a friend stealing in a mall and nobody has seen him, you will. In case others see him also and alert the owner, in case the police is called, in case the police. Now this particular VRT was a very, very well crafted VRT because it was beautifully created to see your presence of mind in emergency condition. Now you've gone with a friend and the person is stealing. Now he's done wrong. That's right. But what should you do as a friend? Get him slashed with a sword, right? No, not in the least. You will care for him. You will make him understand. Yes, I agree. If you tell your friends twice, thrice, they don't understand, then the fourth time he doesn't remain your friend actually. Why? Because if he would have been friend enough, he would have understood what is he doing. So there, he does not remain your friend. So what you got to do is that after this, as I've told you, in case others see him, alert, tell him that please don't do it, return it back. In case he doesn't agree, you can still convince him, still not agree, and he keeps it quietly. You can pay the cost of that thing to the owner and later on take it from him. And suppose it's enormous, then and the pull, and then you can do nothing about it. It's not within your pockets. Then let him pay the penalty. And in case it happens that the other people see, then you will convince him that let him be okay because actually he's done it once. Fine, you charge him a penalty, but don't hand him over to the police. It will affect his career. Give him an opportunity in case your friend feels the regret. Worst come worst scenario, police takes him away and asks you for a bribery, then what will you do? Now here bribery takes a different form. It is bribery of the police, but it is practically a penalty to your friend. So here you can pay it for that moment to safeguard a bigger interest. Not forever to encourage him, but if he is regretful, then pay it and later take it back from him. This will serve as a penalty. Now you'll say, what will you do of this bribery thing? Well, in that case, once you're done with this problem, then you can also report to the other people that this happened and this officer took the bribery. Now you'll say, sir, this is double standard. No, this is not double standard. This is practical standard. Acting situationally and calmly. So you can do that. Clear, not clear? Let's go to the next question, please. One, you are not wrong, but a female blames you wrongly, so you will. Still frames wrong charges, you will. Police catches you on her complaint, you will. You are put in jail, you will. Now, these kind of things are becoming very common. Not only with women, it is coming very common with men also. Men that way behave differently. But many times men also, they land up into wrong blames. Girls also land up into wrong blames of theft also. It applies here also. Similarly, if woman blames you wrongly, now that gender connotation is coming up. So what will happen? There may be people who may start thinking absolutely on the white. And in the process, what will happen? You land up into your unnecessary character assassination. One of the easiest thing happening in India or even in the world is this character assassination. Whenever they find anything they want to belittle a person, they go for character assassination. They don't want to go into that condition to identify whether the girl was wrong, the woman was wrong, or the male was wrong, or they had conditionally agreed, yet they changed the point. No. Assassination. Why does this happen? Basically because of the competitive system and of course sometimes excess by the others also. But mostly these days very common. Now, if frames wrong chances, what will you do? You can only prove yourself that you're not. You have a reputation to live for. You have a reputation to understand. So why the blame? Number one. And if they frame wrong chances, what are you going to do? Then you're going to prove it wrong. Now, there it has been done wrongly, right? Now, police catches you, done, fine, go ahead. You are put in jail, you will. Now, what will you do? You will tell the judge it is not so. You can prove your situations. And since you are not wrong, and it is a wrong blame, you can prove it. The self-confidence is always there. So you can prove it. One more thing is there, that whenever a person of this kind category comes in who gives wrong blames, they do have a bad reputation or a history. That is why they've done it with you. They must be having history. So if you will use the help of the law, you will be able to identify their history and put it in front of the court. The court will automatically say, okay, yes, this girl or this boy has already been indulging before. So I think this blame does not match here. Now imagine a dacoit telling the other person that he is the dacoit. First look at your reputation, then you talk about the others. Same thing happens with either ways. So these things do commonly happen. Sometimes girls blame other girls also wrongly. They try to assassinate their character. They try to belittle them. Very common. You found so many cases coming up. So what is the reason? First they instigate a person. They make the person adventurous and then they will character assassinate them. Very sad, but it is true. Practical reality. That is why people say disciplined life is a better life. You can live in your imagination. But why indulge and suffer? Got it? Now we come down to the next one. You want to marry a girl of your own choice and your parents disagree and oppose your marriage, you will. Your mother says she will commit suicide, you will. The girl insists that quick decision be taken, you will. Now similarly, that can be vice versa for the boys. I'm sorry, many of the questions were framed earlier when the girls' entry was less. So I'm sorry, this can be taken both ways. Girls can take that it's the boy of your choice and your parents disagree. Now whenever you select a partner, if you are selecting it wisely, your confidence will be high. You will certainly tell your parents that, sir, my dear parents, I have always learned the values from you and I have selected a partner accordingly. The person is reasonable, the person is like this, the person is like this. And you will tell them that at least they should meet the person to identify the person and talk to the person at large to identify more about the person or to meet the person's family. This is the way you can request them, you can convince them. And still they disagree, then ask them what is the reason that they disagree. If they are having some orthodox reason of some kind of caste or some kind of religion factor, in some extreme religions maybe that can be something practical suggestion, but otherwise it will be wrong. So you will have to convince them. And thereafter your mother says she will commit suicide. Now this is what is happening. Your mother has used her emotional blackmail card. Very sad, very, very sad that many a time in society, the girls, particularly mothers at a senior stage, they use this emotional bullshit and wrongly misbehave with the entire mind and psyche of people. That applies even to the men. I don't have any glitches about it, but the ratio is more higher on the woman's side. And they, for their own individual tendencies and fancies, they tend to create havoc in person's life because they want things in their order. Who are you to decide the order in every condition and try to play it wrongly and emotionally blackmailing? Where is the wisdom gone? So I don't expect that this should happen, and particularly boys and girls sitting here, you should also not be emotionally such blackmailers. If you are, please correct yourself. And if you are not, God bless you. Here we go. The girl insists that quick decision be taken, you will. She'll commit suicide. So you have told your mother, you will tell her that this is very wrong on your part. You're talking like this. Nevertheless, if you're saying so, I'm not doing it. But for a certain period of time, you'll remain silent. Let the storm subside. Mostly parents and emotional disorder comes for a short period of time. When it subsides, wisdom returns. Wisdom always returns. Remember. And the girl insists that quick decision be taken. What will you do? Now here you are having a mother who's talking and the girl is. Then in that case, when you are looking for a partner, you can tell the girl that, see, we are going to be partners, we have taken the thing. You'll have to be patient. And in case she says, no, it is not possible, then you can better buzz her off and cut the conflict. Because if she, as a friend, does not understand your practical things, in the times ahead also she will be horrible at it. So is it clear? Not clear. So I have told you in detail. Now let's come down to question number 122. You are made in charge of a depot, and in emergency when you need essential material, you find it has been stolen, you will. The people who committed crimes say they needed money for mother's treatment and unit men empathize with them. Now this is a very funny situation. Often happens with an organization when they have some miscreants, some rabble-rousers, some negative elements doing nonsense and using sympathy of others. And after doing the wrong thing also, they want to charge on the others. I mean, I saw this lovely SMS some day back, that there is a girl blaming a man that why you talking even to my friends, fine. And on the contrary, when the boy asks, you have done it with my friends, you also like, you are friendly with them. She says, you think I'm cheating? You are prying on me. I'm a girl, you're prying on me. Funny, funny, funny. We had lately one beautiful episode even in the parliament when people were saying, how can you pry on a girl? Well, if a person is of a high category man and at that level, and his personal life, he becomes an important public example, then of course his things at a large level, at a general level, needs to be understood. They cannot live with that they are having a family and hiding the family and pretending something else and gaining some other impression. This is catastrophic, catastrophic. That speaks enormous of the hypocrisy of people living this way. That speaks that they have bad intentions. They are people with hypocritical, they don't have the courage to accept their basic things. How will they have the courage to fight a country's cause? So now these kind of things are debatable, but let's go further. Who committed crimes say they needed money for mother's treatment and unit men. Now see, helping a person in emergency, helping with their family is very much understood. But you know what people do? When they do mistakes, they try to gain sympathy with others on wrong pattern. They try to dramatize the version. This is where they do double mistakes, rather big blunders. They do blunders for the organization. At that point of time, you have to be wise. You have to empathize with them that, okay, I have to help. That's done. That's understood. But what you did was wrong. So you will get punishment for the same. And you must punish them. Because if you will not do this, everybody will use some empathetic reason and make a fool of you. I as a person want to teach one thing, that I've always been very considerate to people, but many a time I find that many people use this consideration wrongly. They use it to that extent that sometimes I have to snap the ties. Then I have to end the relationships, because that is the last option. What they do is, they tend to make it a empathetic factor, and everybody comes up with some kind of stories. Everybody, and they do not want to work on that level, which becomes harmful for the organization. Same thing applies in the armed forces. If you become lenient to an extent that you have no format of discipline, you will suffer. You will suffer is fine. The organization suffers will not be fine. Because after all, organization is having a big and important purpose of protecting the country as well as keeping things in order. So remember that. Now we come down to question number 123. You are playing an important match and in the last moment you lose an important catch, you will. Everyone is angry, you will. They are not talking to you, you will. See, you have done a mistake. Now, there are two different ways to understand the mistake. You accept the mistake and say sorry and try to be polite and be patient to bear it. Rather than becoming aggressive after doing the mistake that, okay, so what? Now, this is a wrong approach. If you have it correct, this is not a good behavior. You will not live very happily in an organization. Now, what is an organization? Two people is also an organization. When you will make good friendship, it will be an organization. When you will get married, it's an organization. And when you live in many people, it's an organization. So in organization, you cannot do this, that you try to sometime create the emotional drama and think you've done a wonderful thing. No, no, no. Everybody is identifying it. You've done a mistake, accept it, finish, move ahead. And don't become shameless that every time you repeat the mistake. But at least at that point of time, correct it. But there are many people who do not accept their mistake. They start defending themselves. They start creating more complications, which is wrong. So remember, if you have lost an important catch, you will say sorry. It was wrong. And if they are angry, you will bear it, because it is natural that you have done a mistake. So people will be angry for a certain period of time. But it will not be that they will not come and murder you. They will not come and kill you. They will understand after a certain period of time. And things will settle down. Next time, do more better practice so that you don't miss the catch. Is it clear? Okay, here we go down to question number 124. Your best friend cheats you. And when you ask him, he denies you will. You are confirmed that he strongly cheated you, though others tell you to forget and keep friendship intact. Now, this is something which is very important for human behavior. I believe in this, a very important issue, a stitch in time saves 9. Number one, your good friend would not have cheated you. There may be a possibility that it is a misunderstanding. So if there is a misunderstanding, clarify it and solve it. But if there is no misunderstanding, you are confirmed that he has done it, then you should take it as God's signal to cut down the friendship. Because if you will not do it, you don't understand human mind. You forgive once, they will repeat it. You forgive second time, they will repeat it more. Unfortunately, human beings have a very, very foolish tendency that they do not realize that they are themselves doing mistakes out of their own karmas. When they keep repeating mistakes and you keep forgiving them, actually both of you are wrong. Not only that person, but you also. Why do you forgive a person again and again? If you will do this, what will happen? The person will take it for granted. And Lord of any kind, in any form, will not come down to solve justice there. Yes, on the long run, that person will suffer. But are you going to wait for those many years and delay all your efforts and all your success? So you will have to take action. That's exactly what they're saying. That if you keep emotions always on the top, you will create chaos for yourself, for the organization. But if you will keep emotion at the second stage and keep wisdom on the top, of course, certain amount of understanding is okay. But when it is extreme, never. So you have understood, and thereafter you will distance your relationship and go ahead. Now if somebody says, no, keep observing. Okay, let me give you another option also. Suppose you keep observing and you find that no, the person is quite reasonable. Then with precaution you can multiply a little, that's all. Now we come down to question number 125. You're alone in the train and someone is misbehaving with a young lady, you will. There are more friends along with him, you will. They later show arms and even threaten to collect a, you will. Now here they are wanting to see the maturity level. Many of you immaturely, thanks to the movies, you try to become a heroes without wisdom. And that is the time when you land up into troubles. Similarly, you are alone and someone is misbehaving with the young lady, what will you do? You tell me, what will you do? You will try to tell them that, okay, someone is misbehaving with a young lady, you are alone. Then what will you do? That you will convince the person not to do so. You will take the help of other people, their passengers or the ticket collectors, and try to solve.
They are more friends along with him. You will try to talk reasonable. They'll let us show arms and even threaten ticket collector. You will, at that point of time, you will keep silent. You will say, okay. But you will go away from there and somewhere a little far off, pull the chain of the train and stop the train. Now, when the train stops, the number multiplies, your strength multiplies, and what will happen to those miscreants? They will be overpowered. After the train is stopped, you can get out, and thereafter get the help of other compartment people. Now, what will happen? Those criminals will be reduced to pebbles. They'll become very small. So, all your wisdom is practical and has to be very wisely enacted, because your answers will speak of the kind of officer you're going to be in times ahead. Okay, let's go down to the second one. Question number 126. You are going with your sister and wife, and some dacoits surround you, asking to hand over one lady. They're armed and you are away from public place. Now, very funny situation, very odd. Used to come earlier. Now, with the girls also going into the interview, it has been reframed in different language, but still, there's nothing wrong in understanding the logic. When you have two people and both of them are a liability for the situation, as per the situation, that the dacoits have come and they are of this nonsense, what should you do? You should fight till the last moment? Fine. But they are already well armed, and dacoits they are. What will happen? They may kill you, or even injure you seriously and take both of them away. Okay, if they kill you also, they will take both of them away. So why not do one thing? At that point of time, be intelligent to save at least one. So you can say at that point of time, with a future perspective, now a responsible and accountable person thinks differently. And some people may think differently. Some people may think of moving the things away. Some people will think of accepting it as a challenge. So, if you are having a sister and a wife, and you will save your sister. Why? Sir, because I can certainly, with my wife, I can certainly be her companion, and even after the bad experience, help her to come back to normal life. But in case of sister, I cannot become her future. Right? Understandable. So you can say that, okay, sir, in that worst scenario, I will save my sister first, and then after I've saved, I'll tell my sister to rush and get the other help, and meanwhile I'll go also behind, and thereafter try to save the lady also. Now in this process, what have you done? You have secured one thing, now you try to secure the other. There is a possibility that your sister will also get some policemen and others, and thus you can save her also. Worst come worst scenario, even if she lands up being molested, you can help her, being her husband, you can help her getting back to shape, emotionally nurturing her, taking care of her, and giving her all the social protection. So this you can do. So now you understand. I may not say my answer is the best, but it is suggestively one of the answers which can really help you. So hope you understand these 10 questions again, and you relate it well and do well. God bless you. Thank you very much, Jai Hind.